Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Weekly Wine Comic Time. I'm your host, Niko.
And I'm Totoro.
No, you're not.
I'm Christine.
Nice try. At least you said it properly.
Yeah.
At least I think you did. I don't know.
Totoro.
Yeah,
Totoro. I think they say
yeah,
Totoro.
Yeah. This is episode 33. Welcome back once again, and thank you to everybody who has continued to check in with us week to week as we put these out. And tonight we are drinking a bottle of wine. I know it feels like forever. It seems like for a show
since the new year.
For a show that's called Weekly Wine Comic Time. Nothing fancy. We got the Peller Family Vineyards 1.5 liter, the big old bottle of Pinot Grigio.
It was $16.
Pinot Grigio here. So I think, is this a Niagara wine?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. El Cheapo Pinot Grigio here.
It's like drinking a slightly flavored water.
Isn't this the type of wine they serve on the plains? It was like Peller Estate or something, or like
something close to it.
Yeah, this Peller Family Vineyards one. Yeah, I believe this is the one they serve on the plains.
It's a very basic
white
wine.
Yeah, but does the trick.
It does.
Yeah,
and it's refreshing.
Yeah, very tasty.
I was feeling the spring vibes today, even though it's supposed to snow tomorrow.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It sucks.
Thanks for telling me on the show. Now you've put me in a downer. But no, we're here to talk about comics, so let's get into it without further ado. I thought this was a good week. We actually ended up we had a huge week. In sticking to what we had talked about a couple episodes ago. We're gonna try to keep it to like 10 to 12 books normally on the show. We had like 20 books this week.
Yeah.
We actually read a bunch more, but again, we figured we'd talk about the things that we felt were the most interesting to talk about out of the bunch. There's only so mmany times you guys want to hear, oh yeah, it was good again.
Flash ran.
Yeah, it was good again, or it was shit again, or what have you, right? So, but yeah, so let's get into it here. My first comic of the night here is Batman 89. The issue that speculators were creaming over this past week. Of course, because you get a panel towards the end. Spoilers. At the end of the issue, you get a panel
of a woman that you don't know who she is.
She's supposed to be the Joker's new girlfriend, and you see a panel of her mouth. So you don't really know much about her or how she looks.
She looks like a fucking Harley Quinn doppelganger.
So I guess it's a big deal because it's like, I guess his first girlfriend probably since Harley. So speculators are going crazy to pick up this issue. There was ludicrous amounts people were selling it for online. I know I heard same day people are already flipping it for $30. I seen somebody make a post that he actually got rid of his somehow for $700. I don't think that was the norm or the commonality. I mean, like I said, that most
fucking moron bought it,
right? But listen, it happens. A $4 comic the same day or a day after. I mean, going for at least, like I said, at least starting at about $30 online, I was hearing. So that's insane. So anyways, this isn't a show about me commenting on speculators, although I do feel a certain way about that whole kind of side of the business. And
we have a lot of feels on that.
Exactly. So I quickly just kind of wanted to mention it for that reason. The fact that person, I guess, does show up because it was a talked about book this week, but not in the sense that it was that great of an issue. I am still not loving this James Tynion run on Batman.
No.
It's just not clicking for me. I'm not sure why.
Maybe this new girlfriend will bring it all together.
I mean, in this issue, you basically learn that Catwoman has to finally admit to Batman as she meets up with him by the end of the issue after kicking some ass in a graveyard with Harley Quinn for the majority of the first half of the issue. You find out now that she, the jig is up. She had to admit to Batman that all the bad guys made some sort of deal with this dude, the designer guy, and that's his name, right?
Yeah. The designer.
Yeah, and now he's basically coming to collect, and he's causing a lot of issues for everybody involved. You see, Batman continues to punch out those guys that escape from Arkham. Him and Lucius have a couple of moments where, of course, Lucius, there's a whole thing about his tech, and as always, it seems like, and him just trying to get used to Lucius not being in the seat of Alfred now and kind of helping him out. So that's developing. I don't know. It just something about it. It's just very basic, and I'm having a hard time as this story is building. latching on to something in this. Like, it's like, I don't know. I don't know, because James Tynion's, I loved his detective run.
Yeah.
We both did.
I agree.
And in that one, there was a lot of turmoil and drama in the Bat family, which is like, you know, again, that's something that's common in the Bat books. But he did it so well, and he seemed like to know all the characters like well, like he, you know what I mean, like
he
Tim
wrote
Drake,
them all perfectly,
right? And in this, it's just kind of like, you know, flavor of the week, where it's just like, okay, here's this bad guy this issue, here's this bad guy, and like there is a story building here, but it just seems very.
I'm also finding that I can't connect to the characters. Like you're not, like I'm reading them, but I'm not actually like sure Catwoman's like kicking ass, but they seem very like disconnected from each other.
I kind of groaned too when Catwoman kind of went to Batman at the end there and had to like be like, oh hi honey, like, or whatever, like it's just like that whole relationship.
Like she went with her tail between her legs.
Yeah, but it's just like I don't know. It's not working for me. I don't know, and the art's fine. I mean, this one, this is written by James Tynion the fourth, and art was by Carlo Pagulian, Gilliam March, and Danny Mickey, I guess, on inks. And those are both fine artists. They're not like anything amazing, nothing to write home about, in my opinion. I've seen the other guy, Pagulian. I saw some Deathstroke stuff of his that was pretty solid from DC. Gilliam March, I've said on this show before, I'm not a huge fan of. Like, he does sometimes he does some cheesecakey art, but he's not even like one of my favorite cheesecakey artists. Yeah. So I don't know. I give this a 3. I don't know. It's like it started off good, I felt like decent.
Yeah, decent, like it was going somewhere. And then
if every issue, it's kind of sliding down and further down the scale to me. And I mean, you let me know. Maybe I'm being unfair. Like I feel like even at one time I was playing with 3.5, but I'm just like. There was nothing memorable about this issue that added anything to me, and like maybe I'm being hard on it because, you know, Tom King previously had such highs on this book at times, although it wasn't consistent. This is just like, that's why I would rather have read the Tom King run, because at least sometimes he was trying to do different things. Yeah. And I'd rather read something like that where he may try things but ultimately fail at them, but at least it's different. Yeah, this is just like, and like not even, but there's the thing, I feel that some way about the detective comics which we're reading right now, but that's actually a really solid Batman book. Like it may be predictable or like what you may expect from a Batman book. It's like, yep, that's a Batman book, but it's a solid Batman book. You know what I mean? Where this is just like, I don't know, it's missing the mark for me a little bit. It
all went downhill when we learned how to say his last name. It became not Tynion anymore. Tynion just doesn't do it. So
I gave it a 3. I don't know. I expect better, and maybe I'm being unfair in that sense. There's some interesting things going on in the book, but overly, it's not that interesting.
I was going to give it the 3.5.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Extra little oomph. I did still, there were some things I did like I liked the fight scenes with Harley and Catwoman in the graveyard there. Like there's some cool character moments, but the story for some reason is just not clicking, so I can't give it any higher than a 3.5.
Yeah, no, I'm sticking with my 3. I have spoken.
You have spoken. So my first up here is Deadpool. This is issue number 3 by Kelly Thompson with penciler Chris Bachalo. Mm-hmm. I never know how to say that properly.
Bocello, I think.
Bocello? I like his art.
He's great.
So good.
Yeah. And he's coming to Toronto Comic Con in a few weeks. Ooh. Yes.
I know what somebody's getting for his birthday then.
Yeah, right. We'll see how much his shit costs. Or if he even draws at cons or brings pages.
We'll see what somebody wishes he'd get for his birthday. Yeah. The shark is so good.
Jeff?
I love Jeff. Yeah. I just read the one part. He's like, eat shark. He's like, and then I'm not even starting anywhere with this actual storyline. I just started going shark.
Started talking about Jeff the shark. Yeah. So Deadpool's still on Monster Island here. He's still the king of Monster Island. That whole arc is still developing, and this, I guess, what's her name was prominently featured. I mean, she's been in all the issues, I guess, so far right now.
What the fuck's her name?
Oh my god, I know her name, but go on.
But yeah, so basically they were talking about how she was going to kill Deadpool, and you know how that whole scenario was going to play out, and if they did kill Deadpool, then you know the person who killed them would become the king on Monster Island.
Elsa Bloodstone, that's her name.
Her fucking name.
Which I think Kelly Thompson does a great job writing. She's fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, go on.
But I like how they brought back, I remember the cards thing from a long time. Who started the cards for Deadpool?
Jerry Duggan.
Jerry Duggan
Yeah,
started the
Jerry
cards?
Duggan, he had that whole collection of the Captain America card set and stuff like that.
I remember the cards. I just couldn't remember who was the one that started it. Yeah. So they have the cards coming back, and Jeff obviously has his own card, and he's so excited. But he eats his own card.
Yeah.
I love Jeff. I'm just sitting here looking at the page of him munching on his hand.
Yeah.
I give this a 5 for Jeff.
Yeah, because I was under the impression you didn't love this book when it started.
No, I liked it a lot. It was just, it's very different from the Deadpool we were just reading with Jerry Duggins and Scotty Youngs. It's very, very different from those two. Like, it's a complete 180.
Yeah.
But then I like how this blobby guy, I don't know his name, basically is the portal off of Monster Island.
Yeah, he's one of the monsters of Monster Island that has a portal inside of it.
Yeah, which is pretty jokes. And it's like, oh yeah, once the last blob version goes into the portal of himself, then the portal closes.
And he makes a comment about how they're like climbing into a butthole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, at the end, Deadpool just basically ships everybody off, make sure that Jeff's okay.
Yeah.
And then he stays and fights Kraven on his own there, which I thought was pretty good. I had a lot of fun with this book. I gave it a 5.
Yeah, I agree. I'm loving Kelly Thompson's take on Deadpool.
And the art on top of it is just...
Yeah, Chris Boccello is great. So yeah, it's a 5 for me as well. I love Jeff. I think he's hilarious. It definitely makes this book even funnier every time you see him.
He's the instant comedy relief.
I love the Marvel Monster characters. I love Elsa Bloodstone. I pretty much Kraven shows up. I love everything about this book. I'm just like going through all like it's just checking. It's just checking all those marks for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's all those check marks are being struck here for me. Like, it's got a lot of things working for it. Other things other than Deadpool, which is good for a Deadpool book, because like if he becomes too much of the main character, that shtick can get old.
It becomes dull very fast.
So yeah, I think it's smart the type of scenario she has him in with the different types of characters that have popped into the book so far.
Totally, yeah.
You got a funny shark, Kraven, Elsa Bloodstone, monsters.
You have a lot of good supporting characters to him.
I gave it a 5. Really love it.
Yeah.
Next up, I got New Mutants number 7. This is written by Jonathan Hickman. Art by what's his name? Sorry, it's Reese. It's not Ivan Reese. Rod Reese. Rod Rice. Yeah. He was really good. I really like his art. I mean, it's impossible for you not to compare him, especially when he's doing a New Mutants book, to Bill Sienkiewicz, because his art style is definitely reminiscent of that, and not only that, it's like it's basically I'm sure why they picked him for this book, because Bill Sienkiewicz was such a game changer on his art style on this book back in the day. The thing that I love about this book, that he continues to impress me, the story at times is all over the place. It works for me. I really love it. I think it's funny. But this is the first book that does not feel like a Hickman written book that I've read by Hickman. This is very different from what Hickman normally does.
Yeah, I can see that.
And yes, I think underneath it all, you can still tell that it's his writing. But the fact that there's so much humor in it, it's zany, there's inventive type stuff going on in this. Like, there's a joke page dedicated to the fact where, like, one of those infographic pages where you essentially got to roll dice to figure out the outcome of the fight of these guys in it. It just seems like he's having a hell of a lot of fun in this book. And it's been nice seeing him kind of
more like lighthearted.
Yeah, like even a couple of those X-Men issues were really weird. You know what I mean? Like it seems like he's having a lot of fun with weird out there ideas because it is the X-Men and you can do those kind of things. Exactly. You're able to do those type of things, I think, with the X-Men, and no one blinks an eye, right? Because there's been so much crazy soap opera type shit that's happened to them in the comics over the years. But yeah, I mean, they even referenced the fact in this that they basically broke the fourth wall where they said that they were in a comic. They even mentioned, oh yeah, what issue was this? When was our last issue? Like, oh yeah, there's another writer that writes other issues. Ed Brisson, he does, right? So like, and they're like, wait, the last time we had one was 5. Now this is 7. What happened to us in 6? Like this. And so
they broke the fourth wall.
Yeah, which again, not a very Hickman type thing to do. Like I haven't seen him.
But it worked really well.
He's don't get me wrong, he can be funny, but it's more smart, funny kind of stuff that he does. I find.
Yeah, it's very intelligent humor.
But this is just so wacky, this story. Anyways, this kind of concluded this whole story of them in space in this issue, and it was just a hell of a lot of fun. I don't know if Hickman's continuing after this initial arc to kind of split writing duties with Ed Brisson. I know he said eventually he would be leaving the title, but I don't know if he's done as of yet. I hope not, because even though I've been liking Ed Brisson's storylines as well, this has been a hell of a lot of fun. So I gave this a 5. I think he knocked it out of the park. And even though it's not perfect, I have to give it that because, like I said, I'm very impressed that this is Hickman, just because I've never read a book like this, like Hickman, that Hickman's wrote. So
I'm impressed that he has so many fucking characters that you follow, and like it all makes sense. It doesn't get super convoluted. Granted, the people that you see like on the intro page here don't all get like a big part in each issue, but you know, they've all been in it.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
That's a good point.
So that was pretty cool. The beginning of this made me laugh, though. That was it started off really, really good and just ended super strong, like you said. Yeah, I was debating on like a 4.5.
Yeah.
Then I like.
There's that weird ball that Wolfsbane keeps licking. It's like a thing of
it's
air.
Just a ball of gas. Yeah. It's just like, what are you? Gas. And he's like, man.
And he keeps licking it. He's like, all right, see you later. He's like, that's cool. And she's like, I don't actually think she thinks it's cool, does she? Yeah. And he's like, no, I don't think so.
And then they were like, what are you going to do to me? I'm a ball of gas. And like, well, we have this contraption that will turn you into a liquid. He's like, so?
He's like, we could turn you into a solid. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's not a solid. No.
I died at that. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. It's a 5.
I knew that was gonna get you. I seen you kind of like be like, him and hawing over there. I'm like, I'll bring this part up.
Yeah, yeah, that won me over.
Hilarious.
I like that too. So my next book here is Jane Foster Valkyrie. This is issue number 8. This is written by, where did it go?
There's a new co-writer on as starting with this issue with Jason Aaron.
I just had the title. There it is.
She's got a very Viking type name.
Jason Aaron and Torun Gronbeck.
Yeah.
And the art is by Cafu. I thought they did a really good job writing together. So basically this one you start with some crazy fucking shadow people kind of coming to play with this gold, I can't pronounce. It sounds like the person's last name. Yggdrasil.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a word. But yeah, so you basically see something with this, I don't know, potion, I guess I can say, is bringing back to life this shadow figure person.
Yeah.
And then you jump into present day with Jane Foster just kind of gabbing with a friend over coffee. And then her spidey sense starts tingling and she becomes Valkyrie right then and there. And basically all of a sudden she sees like everyone is about to die. Like everyone is on their deathbed. And literally like this moved quick, this issue.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of downtime here. Like you kind of started out and bang, you were right into the thick of things. Because instantly, right after she kind of turned into Valkyrie, all of these shadowy creature monsters start coming out from the ground, like cracks in the ground. Like the ground separates like an earthquake, and all these things keep coming out, and they're kind of taking down everybody. Then you get a good mix of like Cap comes into play, Pegasus is there, Spidey, like the whole shebang comes in. Doctor Strange, then Thor comes in. Like, it was a pretty cool array of people in this, I thought. And then you kind of get into more of just kind of... I'm losing my train of thought. Valkyrie and Thor kind of go off on their own to get into the heart of it. And the rest of the team stay on Earth to try to save, obviously, humanity. And next thing you know, friggin' Thor is kind of taken over by this shadowy thing. And all of a sudden, even the hammer, Mjolnir, gets kind of taken over. And all of a sudden, he's just like, he's empty and cold. And it's going to be a fucking intense next issue if she's got to go after Thor. I gave this a 4. I thought it was really good.
I agree. I also gave it a 4. I thought it was a solid issue. I don't really have much else to add to what you said, other than the fact that
I had a very scatterbrained version of it.
It continues just to be a surprising hit book for me.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't so sure when I kind of just signed on because of Jason Aaron's involvement, no matter how little that was, coming off the heels with Thor. But this has been quite a surprise to the point where I'm hearing other people kind of talk about it and looking to pick it up.
Oh, really?
Just because like word of mouth has done
pretty good
for it.
Yeah,
exactly. So, all right, next up, Wolverine #1, written by Benjamin Percy, art by Adam Kubert and Victor Bogdanovic. Is it Laura Martin on colors? I see Martin there. It must be Laura Martin, I would think. And,
I know there's 2 different
and
people,
Matthew Wilson on colors, that's for sure. Frank Martin, and then Matthew Wilson on colors for the other story. There's 2 stories in this. This is a super oversized issue. I don't know if it's like 64 pages, but it's 2 stories. It's 2 basically full-length issues in this. And normally when they do these #1s and they do that kind of thing, it pisses me off. But what was good about this, and it pisses me off for a number of reasons. Usually it's not sometimes always by the same writer of the comic. Sometimes the art teams suffer. But I gotta say, I thought the art was good in both stories. I by the same writer, Benjamin Percy, and it was both kind of 2 solid stories. I thought Wolverine stories that were going in interesting directions for the character, and this is the first time we've had a Wolverine ongoing for like 4 or 5 years since they killed him off for that
old man and all that type of.
You're right. We technically always had one by default, but a proper regular, Wolverine. Yeah. Exactly. This is the first time in a few years.
Not the middle-aged Wolverine.
Right. So I was excited for this.
What if you had a kid Wolverine?
He does have a kid.
No, I mean actual Wolverine as a kid, not Wolverine's kid.
I'd still check it out, probably. I like the character. But yeah, so I was really excited for this. And Benjamin Percy's been writing him in X-Force, which we've been really enjoying, and I really liked his take on the character in that. And I gotta say, this felt more of like a companion piece to that X-Force book than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah. Especially this first story. This first story is like a pure X-Force story. Like it some moments take place during his time with X-Force. X-Force is in the issue helping him out. It's kind of bringing us up to speed about like his involvement with that team as well. But if you're reading X-Force, I guess it didn't add too much that you didn't really know, other than the fact that like there's a whole new storyline that they're giving you like flashbacks of, or maybe it takes place in the future where it's like kind of Wolverine doesn't know how he got there or who he is. It's one of those classic Wolverine like
that's
fucking
what they
head
kind of
fucks.
say. They start like he's had it so many times where he basically gets amnesia.
Right.
It's another time.
Yeah, it's a very popular Wolverine trope in that sense. But then in the second story, you see him. What's his name? Omega Red tries to come to Krakoa, and he just doesn't trust him. Like, even though they're supposed to be welcoming all mutants with open arms, and Magneto kind of scolds him for it and says, no, he's allowed here.
I'm not familiar with Omega Red.
Yeah, he's kind of like a more of the... He was on the cartoon, I think, back in the day. Okay. Like, he's a 90s X-Men villain, for sure. Okay. And so... Yeah, but he's just a bad dude, and like he just doesn't trust him. So he kind of starts investigating where he came from, what's really happening with that. And then it seems by the end that he is deceiving them, and and being a spy for the vampires.
Yeah.
Which I think might be tying into the Jason Aaron stuff he's doing in Avengers, because he's doing a whole vampire thing over
that's
there.
true.
Remember, like Dracula, he ended up in that they left him in that area.
That's true.
Right. So I don't know if this is like, but then also with vampires, there's a whole history of vampire stuff with the X-Men with Inferno back in the day. So wait, no, was it Inferno? Yeah, I think it's Inferno. Anyways, there's been vampires in the X-Men books in the past. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I gotta give it. Yeah, I loved it. I gotta give it a 5. I was trying to be
Not biased.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed reading this. So, and both our team were good. I was gonna say I don't like the 2-story thing. I was gonna give it a 4.5, maybe because of the fact there was 2 stories.
But you liked them.
But I liked both of them. Yeah. So, and Adam Kubert looked great. Victor Bogdanovic, also good. But I just love the Adam Kubert stuff. I mean, he's a Wolverine artist from the past as well. So I loved seeing him on the book again. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought that they did a really good job with the 2 different stories. Because usually, like you said, when they have the oversized issues, you get like the main story and just like a really fucking shitty backstory that takes up far too much space.
This wasn't that for me.
No, this was like a good, solid 2 actual stories. And it didn't, like, they didn't float, like, they were 2 completely different stories.
Yes.
Which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, I did actually really like the vampire one. Shocking. But no, I thought it was actually pretty cool. I liked how they kind of went in and they're basically siphoning Wolverine's blood because it'll help them.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, and then Red something?
Omega Red.
Omega Red is basically being used by Dracula.
Yeah.
What is it that he had though? So he has to have like a synthesizer or something like that. So what's wrong with him? Do you
Omega
know?
Red?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know too much about the character.
Okay. I just saw that he had something that basically keeps him alive. Mm-hmm. Or he had to keep like killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry. You will no longer need to kill to live, but maybe that won't stop you from living to kill. So something about him, he has to kill people in order to survive. Yeah, I gave this a 5.
Nice. I'm glad. I was really worried that you were going to hate on it.
Yeah?
I don't know why, but I was like, uh-oh.
No, I thought it was pretty damn good. So the next one we have here is Deadly Class by Rick Remender and Wes Craig. And like every issue we say, Wes Craig just keeps getting fucking better and better. And this issue did not let down. There was crazy action involved here. Basically, like Petra's family's back to like revive or, take revenge. What's his face? Why can't I think of the main guy's name right now? Marcus finds his girl banging some guy against a tree and she gets all fucked up, Maria.
Yeah, that was shitty.
Yeah, that was like he got real messed up with that.
I mean, he's shitty too, so
yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like the whole situation was fucked.
Yeah.
And then all these crazy like Petra's crazy fucking family people.
Yeah.
That come out of here with like masks and fucking horns and scythes and
Is that her family?
I think that's what they said.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a fucking cult in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, it was so fucking random. But yeah, I think so. I think that's what I had read in here was that they were basically like, they were all like, for Petra!
Yeah, because Helmut was part of the road now.
Yeah. And he was crazy after Marcus here with some crazy ass freaking axe he had. I don't know. This fucking issue was buck wild and I loved it. I gave it a 5. Action-packed, art amazing.
Yeah, it's hard for me not to give this book a 5.
Right?
Yeah, it was another really solid issue as always. I mean, I'm a broken record every time I talk about this book. Wes Craig, the most inventive layout artist in comics right now to me, consistently does interesting layouts and things on the page with his art I think that other artists are not doing. Just really good. Every time the book comes out, it's like top of the stack for me. I think it's
top of the stack for you, bottom of the stack for me.
Yeah, exactly, because we read in opposite orders. If we haven't talked about that on the show here before, she reads her most anticipated last, I read mine first. Yeah. So But yeah, it's another great issue. I mean, what more can I say? I gave it a 5. I'm fucking handing out a lot of 5s here today.
The last couple weeks, you've been fucking 5 happy.
Been some good stuff coming out, so I'm happy. I'm good with that. I'm at peace with myself and my enjoyment of comics. Next up, we got DCeased, The Unkillables, issue 1 of 3. This is basically a sequel of sorts to DCeased. The series, I guess, that ended a couple months ago.
It was like around Halloween.
Very popular for DC, written by Tom Taylor. This has art by a different artist than the original DCeased, who I'm not familiar with, Carl Mostert, and inked by Trevor Scott, Neil Edwards, and John Livesey. I mean, he's got kind of like a Frank Quietly style going on, which is not bad. Or Chris Burnham, you can definitely see with the little detail lines and wrinkles on some of the characters.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he's a talent. This guy, I don't know where he came from. I don't know if he's just been doing stuff I'm not aware of. But yeah, I mean, comparing it to those artists, he's definitely got something going for him. I mean, he definitely is got that style. Maybe not as good as those guys, but he's got that type of style, and it looks really good. I dug it. This is so much fun. I love this fucking series. I was so worried about a sequel to that book because I didn't think it was going to be a book that would work for me.
Yeah.
Because it was so simple in concept, like with the whole zombie fucking thing, kind of, even though they're not like technically zombies, I guess. Yeah. The technovirus thing is affecting them. But then Tom Taylor just has a knack for knowing these characters and understanding them, and has a good voice for them, and is funny to top it all off. Like my biggest laugh of the week was in this issue where Solomon Grundy comes through, and he's got that shirt that he's wearing. I'm just trying to flip to the page right now where I can read where he has it. Yeah, he's like, I don't know, there was a joke about tree lobsters because the creeper's in there, and he's like wacky, and he makes some comment about because what's his name? Vandal Savage says something about tree lobsters, right? Like, I guess living for so long or something like that. Because Vandal Savage is immortal, and he fucking...
It's like 5,000 years.
Yeah, he's like, I've lived through worse. We'll be fine, right? Because meanwhile, like, all these villains have banded together. That's essentially what this miniseries is. This is like the villain perspective of DCeased, because during DCeased, the other miniseries, it was all the heroes' perspective, really. In this one...
All the heroes dying.
Yeah, you have some heroes in this, but all of a sudden, Solomon Grundy, he's like wearing a shirt that says I'm a tree lobster on it, and he's like, Grundy is tree lobster, and I'm just I don't know why, I just fucking started laughing. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. And then you got with the heroes in this, you got Jason Todd and
Kane,
Cassandra Cain, and like he goes to the Batcave, and he's pissed off because not the Batcave, they find the Joker because he killed Batgirl and Barbara, and he finds his dead body. He's like, fuck. He's like, this should have been me who did this. He's like, killed him, right? Because obviously Joker killed him back in the day. And he's just like, he like straps him to the front of their car, and
like
then Cassandra's like, really? And he's like, apocalypse.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. She's like, all right, yeah, like
Fair
this is acceptable right now. Yeah.
I'm gonna be able to do it, it's gonna be now.
I gave it a 5. I loved being back in this world. I like I said, I liked the jokes. I thought that he writes these characters great. It's interesting seeing it from another perspective. The artist, who I was never aware of, I thought brought it in this. 5. I thought it was great. Mirror Master was fantastic in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that I laughed to with the car part was that they drove into an orphanage.
Right.
That was like all blocked up and everything. And Cassandra Cain goes to him again. He's like, so how about the front of the car now? And he's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Then he takes the body off of it. He's like, oh.
You're right.
Yeah.
I just thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I gave this a 5. There's not much more I can say to that. I fucking have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah,
so weird.
If he continues, I'm kind of glad it's not like a huge miniseries again, like 6 or 8 or 10 issues. It's
little
3
things. It's good.
But if he kind of every couple of months they put out another like 2-parter, 3-parter of this, and it continues to be this
so
quality,
happy. Yeah,
I'd be okay with it. It depends. Like it might be
Depends
too
on
much.
How
but
it goes, but still.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm having so much fun
Same,
with it.
same.
I thought it was just
Yeah, so if you enjoyed the
Delightful.
first series, and definitely check this out. It may have fallen off your radar, but it's great.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about the Mad Max part. So the next one we have here is issue number 4, Family Tree by Jeff Lemire and Phil Hester. This is fucking wacky. Just delightfully fucking wacky. So basically, like this, you get the point where the grandfather here, you find out that, well, we knew that he had the piece of his son's hand, which was a tree.
His wooden hand is
Yeah.
essentially his son that's on him. Yeah.
Yeah, so he kept a piece of him with him, and he's finally telling the wife what had happened.
Yes.
So she's kind of freaking out
Because
that
this whole time she thought that he abandoned their family.
yeah,
but it
like
turns out
he had died, and he turned into this
Yeah.
fucking tree that nobody told them about. And the grandfather just like comes. It's like, well, he fucking hated you. He's like, well, who else was he gonna tell? Like, who else would have believed him at this point? And he's like, all right, fair. And then he all of a sudden is like shoving this hand in their face. He's like, look, it's him.
Yeah.
It was just weird. And then at the end, like, so yeah, they were at the doctor, whatever the fuck this doctor's is, that can't actually help them. So I don't know what the point of bringing the daughter to this place was, besides the fact that they know that they're turning into a tree. But the cult that's against the tree people have now found them and come and attacking them. And there's just like the grandfather's going buck wild now and, you know, taking on all 50 of them here, and he gets stabbed, but his son is still talking to him through this hand. And he's like, you fucking abandoned me for my entire life. Where were you? So you got to do this now. And he actually gets back up. He's like hit with a freaking nail studded bat. He's hit in the back with an
Got
axe.
shot in the shoulder.
He's shot. Yeah. He has a machete to the knee, but he's still somehow going until the very end, and you find everybody surrounded him and he's dead. This was insane. And I love it. I give this a 5.
Yeah. I gave it a 4.5.
Yeah.
I thought the ending was fantastic. The ending of them just surrounding him after beating the shit out of him.
And it's just mangled.
That was crazy. But for me, like, the first half was a little slow in this one, I felt. Like, it's still really fucking weird. It's still great. I'm still enjoying it. I don't see how this can go on that long of a series.
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, like
I feel like they have, like,
10
2
issues or something
Yeah.
at most. I mean, yeah, it's great. I don't know how sales are doing for Jeff Lemire on this, but it is Jeff Lemire, so I'm sure a lot of people have checked it out at least to kind of keep it coming out for a bit. But it's such a fucking weird concept.
It's
That's what I mean.
so
It's one of those
odd.
things where, like, okay, you're Jeff Lemire, we'll allow you to do this, but, like, it's
off the rails.
It's out there. It's a fucking weird book. Yeah.
But it's so weirdly good.
And then, like, even the first page, I don't know if you noticed, like, the art, the panels are basically in the shape of a hand.
Yeah.
Like, it's just really strange.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was inventive. It was just like, it's an odd book.
It
Yeah.
is.
I like, for me to recommend this to someone,
I don't know how you would
Yeah.
really.
This
So
kid.
there's a family.
Yeah.
The father abandoned them. The kid is now turning into a tree.
Yeah.
You find out that the father turned into
There's
a
a crazy
tree,
cult of people
and there's a cult
chasing
that's
them.
trying to kill the trees.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Strange. But wonderfful.
It is.
Last
And the
off.
art works so well for this
Yeah,
book.
Phil Hester does a good job. Last off for me, I got Wonder Woman Dead Earth. This is book 2, I think, of 4. This is the book written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson in the oversized, like, magazine style format, like sized comic. I'm really enjoying a lot of these DC Black label books, which we'll get into another one in a moment. This is fucking great. I mean, I think the first issue was my favorite of the week. The story, there wasn't much story to this one, but there was such a fucking epic battle in this book, and Daniel Warren Johnson is such a good fucking artist that I was like, I was so engrossed in the story. Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, there wasn't too much I think that they added from the last issue to this one in terms of, like, Well, actually, no, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Sorry, most of the issue was a big fight with her and other people, but then it turns out the humans that I guess helped her when she kind of came out of that cryogenic sleep in that first issue. It seems now that like she's found out like all her like Themyscira, like the Amazons have all like mutated, and she ends up going there and like finding all them.
Yeah, they all got like poisoned, and they became into these huge mutinous bug monsters.
And they blamed the humans. And so then at the end, she's kind of at an odds. Like she's basically running around defending the humans and like trying to help them. Because of their shitty lot in life, like at this point in time, like and how like they were affected by this whole like apocalypse kind of setting, and meanwhile, she's kind of between a rock and a hard place because she kind of like after seeing how her people were treated and got fucking turned into mutants, and like they were trying to blame the humans. She kind of said, I shouldn't have trusted you, and she leaves her friend that she's made, this human woman, at the end of this, and went off with Cheetah. She's like flying around on a fucking like Pegasus, that's mutated as well, and Cheetah's mutated. So like I don't know, it just at the end there, it kind of left on a really crazy fucking
what was
spot.
even more fucked up is that she's been killing her sisters.
Yes.
The whole time.
But that's when she didn't realize, and like the humans...
I know, they think that they're all these crazy bugs. And
right.
If you remember, at one point they had gutted the one that we saw them kill, and they're like, this is oddly like human. All of they're all engorged, but they're all very human. I
think the problem is
organs.
that like they don't think it was the human's intention, but now that she found that out, she feels that they were fucking lying to her. Yeah. And then now she's kind of like, and she's always had that relationship like where they didn't understand why she kind of liked the human race like that, like she did. You know what I mean? Like, well, as Wonder Woman, like the Amazon.
What was her intrigue with
them?
Right.
So then you kind of still got that, but now since it's in the far-flung future of this post-apocalyptic setting, it's kind of changed a bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like for her, like especially in finding out like what happened to the Amazons, like in this one,
really changed her viewpoint.
I mean, I gave it a 5. I just think he's an amazing artist. Even if the fucking story wasn't interesting like it is, I probably would still give it a 5 just for the visuals in this one. Like I said, I guess I was wrong by starting off by saying it wasn't much of a story. It just the action scenes just like were
so overpowered.
Yeah. So 5.
Yeah, I gave it a 5 too. There's not much more for me to say on that. It was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
His art is so badass. So the last book of the evening is another Black Label DC oversized issue. This is the last one, I think, right?
Yeah.
Of this one. So this is the Joker Killer Smile, but they do have
a one-shot
coming.
Which I'm glad it's not a full nother series, because I don't think you need it for this, but I'm like, one-shot, I'm like, okay, it's apparently coming in a couple of months. The Killer
May
Smile or something like that. I think it's called the Smile Killer. What was this one called?
This is Killer Smile.
So the other one's called Smile Killer.
Yeah,
I think, at one-shot, yeah.
So this is by Jeff Lemire as well, and by Andrea Sorrentino, who's a beast. This was a really neat issue. Like, I like how it kind of had a like child storybook vibe to it throughout it. I know we've kind of had that throughout the whole thing, but I felt it more apparent in this one. So like you're getting very, very dark. And like that weird mix of weirdly light.
Very dark.
But this is also very similar of Harley Quinn's storyline.
Yeah. It's what he does. I mean, that's
manipulating, but it's very much almost step to step. I found in this one mostly I saw that. The other two I didn't notice it as much, but in this one, like, even, like, they're cuddling in his room and, like, he's holding him and he's got the paint on his face and, he's trying to figure out how to get home. And, like, there was a lot of internal turmoil here. And with how the Joker obviously manipulated the Doctor, who I can't think of his name at the moment. But, yeah, he ends up, like, going through and he's in such a fucking weird state of mind that he's about to kill his family. One of my favorite pages that Andrea Sorrentino drew was when he's in the house with the mask on and he sees his son. So, and like half of the page is like the reality. And then the other half is like the fucked up delusions that Joker is now implanted into his brain. And they're all like crazy Joker looking smiles and just... again, his art for these books is so spot on and so creepy.
The trippiness he really captures. God. Yeah.
I thought this was actually fantastic. I thought this was really good. And then the way it ended with basically him putting himself... Excuse me, I have something stuck in the back of my throat.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, like, he puts himself into Arkham and kind of lives himself out there.
Yeah.
I gave it a 5.
Yeah, I also gave it a 5. I loved this series. I thought it was really good. I get what you're saying about the similarities, but I thought it was interesting as well with the guy not ending up having to kill his family at the end. And that whole conversation at the end there with him and the cop, who I guess wasn't there, right? Or she was? Okay, no, I just thought she faded out at the end there, but I guess it wasn't.
Oh, no, she was actually there because she appreciated the fact that he...
She was on the other side of the glass, I guess, yeah.
That he was happy that he still got visited after everything that went on.
Well, she said to him kind of like, you won, like you didn't end up killing them like he wanted you to, like good on you.
You still
like, you
won
made
out
the
in
right
the end,
decision, right? And yeah, after kind of getting mind fucked by the Joker like that, it was pretty brutal. Like, it was such a dark book that I thought he was ending up gonna have to kill his kid at the end of this. I actually thought that was gonna happen, but luckily that didn't end up happening. Although at the end, the Joker's giving his son a fucking balloon, and he's out in the world now. And I guess that's what the one shot's going to be with him kind of on the loose now. So who the hell knows what's going to happen.
Crazy dynamic. The fact that he got the Joker out and the Joker's on the loose, and they don't even really, they're not even seeming to do anything about it right now.
Yeah. Anyways, another good mature Black Label title, I think, from DC is this Joker Killer Smile. But again, you got people like Jeff Lemire and Andrea and Sorrentino working on the book, so it's in good hands. Yeah. So I think it's another good Joker story. So if you're a fan of the character, definitely check that out. And I think it's, other than Harleen, this was the only other one that's completed that we've been reading so far. I was gonna say it's probably my favorite, but Harleen was also pretty fucking good, so it's hard to say, but
I guess still give it to Harleen if we're doing that.
But very good. I gave it a 5. All right, fuck, so a lot of 5s today.
We had 2 that were 8 5s.
Yeah well, it's good. It's a good week.
It is.
Okay, so what's your favorite of the week then? Do you know already? Do you have an idea? You need a moment?
I think I know.
With this many 5s, it should be difficult, but maybe not.
It is.
Not necessarily. I have a clear-cut winner, I believe.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. I'm going to say mine first.
Okay.
Wonder Woman.
Really?
I loved it.
I wanted to give it to that, but I can't. I can't this week. I came so close. But this is one of the first books I read even before Wonder Woman, and I felt that everything I read after it, even though I read a lot of good things, nothing kind of matched, I think, my experience with this book. No, it's DCeased, Unkillables.
Oh.
I laughed. I thought it was like... No, it's not Wolverine. I just Wonder Woman was probably my runner-up because of Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah,
but
I just really, really liked that story.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was my favorite of the week, as you know, but it was just like, this DCeased Unkillables, again, it just kind of keeps surprising me how much fun I have reading it.
That was high up for me.
Yeah, I just really have fun reading these.
It was a lot of fun.
And I think he has a great voice for the characters, and the artist, who I was not aware of, was a treat. So yeah, I got to give it a 5. Sorry, not a 5, my favorite of the week. Obviously, I gave it a 5. Shut up,
it was a 3.
I'm tired. Anyways... With that being said, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add. Any fucking other smart-ass remarks you want to make about me over there before you wrap up?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, good. You got it all off your chest. Yeah, good. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. There you have it. Those are our favorites of the week, and thanks for tuning in as always. And also, by the time this airs, check back later this week, the return of Trade Talk to the channel, the late tapes. There's going to be like 6 or 7 episodes, guys, of me talking about all the trades that I've read over the past month. Yeah, almost 2 months.
haven't
in
done
the
one
new
since
year.
the new year.
Yeah, in the first week of the new year, I dropped an
Oh.
episode, and then after that, yeah, I kind of just fell off the radar there. But it doesn't mean I stopped reading books. It
No.
just meant I stopped recording them
There's some
for
pretty
whatever
good
reason.
books.
There is, yeah. So you're looking at the stack right
I
behind
am.
me there. Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, look forward to that, guys. All right, see you guys next time.
Thanks so much.